The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 for free at sign up with the promo code SGPN. It's Kalshi, promo code SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Currently Thursday morning, January 15th, around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm Reichel, once again joined by Lonte Smith. Together, we're going to break down our thoughts for the Thursday card. Lonte, long time no see. How have you been? Bit weird that we have an international game in the middle of the afternoon, but should be interesting. Should be fun. Lonte, what's up?
Yeah, man, I'm good. It's actually good for me to watch some basketball early. I wish they would do this a little bit more, but it's cool. I mean, it's a lot of interesting storylines to the game and also for the rest of the card. And we had some good performances last night, some big performances last night, actually. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Sensabaugh had a monster game off the bench. They lost the game anyway, but he had, I think it was 43 in the end. Brunson got injured, though. Flagg got injured, a couple of injuries there. Barnes was great for Toronto at 26, 7, and 13. Mitchell, I think, at 27 points in the second half as the Cavs blew out the Sixers. And Trey Murphy at 34, Murray at 33. So there you go. But either way, ended up splitting my lock and dog, had the Clippers wire to wire. Never in doubt, Wizards are tanking, and ended up losing the lock as Dallas did end up losing outright. But either way, a point is decent episode nonetheless. Anyway, before we get into any of the actual games for Thursday, a reminder that you can check out the discount that we have right now on the SGPN merch store. New year, new gear. SGPN merch store has a ton of new items for the new year, and right now get 10% off everything with the code 2026. So if you want to check out the NBA Gambling Podcast section, you can. We have different shirts available. But once again, use the code 2026 to get 10% off everything in the merch store. So moving on to the actual card here for Thursday. I alluded to it before. We do have an afternoon game taking place in Germany. Grizzlies are taking on the Magic. Magic laying 4.5, and the over-under is at 228.5. The injury news is pretty big for Germany because you have Franz and Mo Wagner, who are not listed for the injury report for this game. For Memphis, we know half the team's injured, including John Morant, who will not play in this game. Morant's out, Pippen's out, Jerome's out, Edey's going to still be out for another month or two, and Clark is out as well. So we know Orlando has been pretty frustrating down the stretch of games, but they're better than Memphis. So I'll ask you in this neutral site game, what do you like?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. I mean, you talked about Bane going against his former team for the first time. I think you talked about the Wagner boys coming back to Germany. Also, Tristan da Silva, who's from Germany as well. So I think that this will be a little bit more incentivized for Orlando to get things going, especially with they're getting Franz back. I think Franz had missed, 15, 16 games. And, I mean, perfect time to come back. Mo had came back from the ACL tear of last year. So they kind of picked the right time to kind of get things going. And I think after the All-Star break, I think the Magic are going to be a completely different team. I'm interested to see if they make any moves. But now that they're officially whole with the emergence of, guys like Anthony Black, they had some of their other pieces play well. Jet had played well a few games. Jace Richardson had played well a few games. So
Goga had an okay couple games.
Yeah, so they're getting timely contributions, and I think that's going to pay dividends down the stretch in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So I like the Magic in this spot. I think they're well incentivized to get a big win for those three guys. Although they also have the added motivation of Bane going against his former team, and they've been up and down over the last few weeks. I mean, they've been unimpressive as well. I mean, the last three wins were against Indy, Brooklyn, and the Pelicans. So
and the Nets one was also very dicey, to be fair.
Yeah. So this should be a good win for them. I know Memphis is down a little bit, but they are 11-10 without Ja. They typically play well against like middling teams, and I think Magic are right there in the middle of like decent teams. So I like Memphis. I like Orlando to get it done against Memphis in a big homecoming for those three guys. Plus, you got Desmond Bane going against his old team. So I like Orlando to get it done.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think at the end of the day, I think Orlando is just more talented. I question how many minutes Franz is going to play, but he's still going to help provide a bit more offensive balance. Hopefully, he'll help close late in games because we have seen Orlando's offense struggle down the stretch of some close games. So hopefully, once again, they address it and it ends up working out in their favor. But I'll go for Orlando in this game as well. Moving on to the next game. So for this one, going to look at the Suns taking on the Pistons. in what could be game of the night. For this one, though, Booker might not play, so keep an eye out for that. Might be why the Pistons are laying 6.5, and the over-under is 223.5. So Booker's a questionable tag. Royce O'Neal is probable. Besides that, Jalen Green's still out. For Detroit, couple of reinforcements. Tobias Harris missed about a week. He's probable. And Duren is probable for this game. Besides that, Isaiah Stewart probable as well. So it might come down to if Booker plays or not, because if he's not going to play, then the offense has really minimal choices. But either way, I'll ask you, Lonte, does this game simply come down to Booker playing or not? Because 6.5 feels like it's kind of baked in to Booker probably sitting. But I'll ask you, because if Booker's playing, I'll take the points. If not, I'll take the Pistons. Is it that simple?
Yeah, I think it's that simple as well. And this is a homecoming for Devin Booker, obviously from Detroit. I think he's from Detroit. I know he's from Michigan. I think he's from Detroit. But yeah, I mean, this is two teams that I want to bet on. And you talked about Detroit getting guys back with those guys missing a couple of games. And Tobias came back as well after missing a week. So I like both teams, although the Phoenix side has been a lot more impressive as far as covering numbers. I mean, 8-2 ATS the last 10. They're 13.
I believe they're best in the entire league.
Yeah, they probably are. They probably are. Yeah, I mean, they're 13-8 ATS on the road. But like you said, man, Booker's a huge part of that. I think he's averaging like 25, 6, and let me see, what is this? He
almost had a triple-double last game.
Yeah, he's averaging 25.2, 6.5 assists, and 4.1 rebounds this season. So, like, he's playing really well, underrated on a team that, people didn't have high hopes for, and they're playing well, and he's the leader behind that. So, credit to him for doing that. But again, if he's not in the lineup, I just can't see them going. I can't see them going there to get a win. Competitive, maybe for a few, but I just don't see them getting it done. With or without him, I like the under. It's actually taking money. I think it opened 221.5 and got ticked up. I really don't agree with that. Both teams have been under teams all year. Both teams have held 3 of their last 5 opponents to 100 points or less. They're under in 7 of 10. I mean, like, everything points to under. Detroit's played in 5 straight unders. And I know, kind of the lineup stuff and the guys being in and out of the lineup kind of tweaked that. But I think their defense has been a lot better. I think Phoenix's defense has been a lot better as well. So I'm going to take the under 223.5. And like I said, it's just kind of a wait-and-see approach on the side. But if Devin Booker is playing, I definitely will be on the Phoenix side.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the under for me as well. If Booker ends up playing, Phoenix is still a good defensive team. We know Detroit is as well. And if Booker doesn't play, I don't know how they're going to score. So I like the under in this game as well. Moving on to the next game, Celtics taking on the Heat. For the injury report here, Boston's basically fully healthy, of course, with no Tatum. For Miami, Davion Mitchell is doubtful. Jaquez is questionable, but Hero's probably playing point guard in this game. Celtics are laying 2.5. The over-under is 235.5. Miami beat Phoenix last time out. They were up 20 at the half, basically, blew the entire lead, and then rallied to win, courtesy of some big shots with Norman Powell. But even when the Heat win games, they're not exactly the most convincing in the world. Boston, we know, has been a juggernaut this season, and we do know that Boston has enough firepower to frustrate a pretty underwhelming Miami defense. But we know Miami has the size with Bam and with Ware to at least frustrate Kata and company in this game. I'm going to go Boston. I just think conceptually Boston's the better team. And Miami beating Phoenix in a game where they blew a 20-point lead in the second half is not exactly convincing me to trust them in the spot. Yes, I know that Spoelstra and Mazzulla have had some battles over the years. I get all that. But I think Boston's the better team. And Jaylen Brown is clearly the best player on the court. Not to mention the fact that Hero at point guard can be problematic if he goes hero mode and just, pun intended, and starts playing a lot of hero ball, jacking up 20-something shots. So that could be a bit of a problem as well, but I'm not a fan of how this team's defended. I didn't really like how they played the second half against Phoenix, punting away a 20-point lead before rallying. Give me Boston minus 2.5.
Yeah, honestly, I think this number is perfect. I think it's 2.5 kind of pretty much signifies what each team is. I can make a case for both sides, to be honest with you. Let me ask you something before I get into what I do like. Where do you think Bam ranks in Miami Heat history in points?
Okay, I got to think about that for a second. Because we've roasted his lack of shooting for years. Do I think he's actually top 10? I'm going to say he is because you probably wouldn't have asked me that. I'm going to say he's 9th.
Second.
Really?
Second. He passed Alonzo Mourning in the last game. He is about well, he won't catch D Wade. He's like 10,000 points away from D Wade, who holds the team record. But
I would never have guessed second. That is kind of shocking. Then again, all these numbers of who is the franchise, that just means you played there for about 20 years. It's all about him only playing on one team. But second all time, I would not have guessed. That is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, he is. And he actually broke out of his slump. He had been playing like horribly over the past 2 or 3 weeks. He was averaging like 10 points. He was playing horrible. He kind of got back into it the last game. They are 7-3 ATS the last 10. They played really well at home. 12-8 ATS at home. But if you converse that, I mean, Boston's 12-8 ATS on the road. They're coming off a horrible loss to Indy. They lost 3 of 4, and their offenses look like atrocious. They're under 100 points in 2 of those 4 games that they played. Like, so I can kind of see a bounce back effort from Boston. So I would probably agree with you if I had to take a side. But again, I think there's going to be points in this game. So I'm going over this number. I mean, it's ticked up a little bit. I think 243.5 was the open. But Miami's allowed 120 plus in 4 straight. We talked about the struggles that Boston has. I think Miami's defense is going to allow Boston to play with pace, allow them to shoot a lot of threes. The total was 245, and it ended 245 in the first meeting, and that total was 233, so, a little bit higher up here. But I expect both teams to score. I think it's going to be an up and down type of game, coin flip game, which is why I'll stay away from the side. But I do like the over in the game. I think we see around 245 is about the number that I can see. I can see this maybe even going into overtime.
Yeah, I agree. I like the over in this game too. Moving on to the next game, Thunder taking on the Rockets. For this one, Thunder laying 5.5, and the over-under is 223.5. Injury report for this game. Houston's going to be without Eason, but besides that, Şengün did come back earlier this past week, so they are basically fully healthy. But Eason defensively being out is a big deal. For the Thunder, no Hartenstein, and Dort is questionable. OKC got their groove back. I've been playing some good basketball lately, so we'll see if that continues in this game. Rematch of the season opener. They went to double overtime, and they have not played since. Now, the Thunder have won 4 in a row, barely beat Utah, barely beat Memphis, so not a great start, but beat Miami by 12 and then got some revenge, beat San Antonio by 21 at home. Lonte, the Rockets have been really underwhelming lately. They almost lost to a Chicago G League team, but either way, they got the job done in the end. I don't like this Houston team. I think the spacing is horrible. I think that you could argue the lack of leadership is apparent with this team, but I don't trust them at all. I get that it's a get-up spot. I understand, but at the same point, the Thunder are getting back on track, and Houston has been, I don't want to say in free fall, but they've been sputtering, and barely beating Chicago, missing Giddey, is not going to suddenly make me change my opinion about this team. I'll go for the Thunder in this game. What do you like?
Yeah, I like the Thunder as well. I think they gained a little bit of their mojo back. They've won 4 straight, not covering, but they're kind of winning those games. Mm-hmm. And if you go back to the beginning of the year, they played one of the best games of the season, like the season opener, 105, 104, I think was the score, 125, 124. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it went to double overtime.
Yeah, so I thought that was a really competitive game to get the season started. I think this will be a competitive game, and then OKC will find a way to pull it out. The thing is, they don't have a lot of spacing, but they have a couple of guys who can kind of handle the ball and initiate their offense to be okay enough to handle the OKC pressure, and I think that'll give OKC some trouble until they kind of figure out, what to do defensively. Obviously, Kevin Durant going against OKC is always one thing to monitor. But like you said, Houston's not been good as of late. I mean, 3-7 ATS the last 10. They've not covered in 6 in a row. And I think OKC's, they're obviously hearing the talk and, some of the things that are going on. And they're obviously not 100% healthy. But I do think that they'll play well here. I think Jay will be a big factor in this game, guarding some of those big men that Houston has. So I'm going to take OKC here. I also like the under. I think both teams will kind of play a little slower pace. Half-court type of game, so I like under as well.
Yeah, I think I agree. Once again, first meeting was high scoring, but that is inflated with the overtime, so keep that in mind. That game turned into a rock fight late. I can see that happening here again, but I can't trust Houston, simply put. I see Barry mentioning he likes Houston as home dogs. I'm rooting for you. Based on what I've seen from Houston the last couple of weeks, There's no chance I'm betting on them against OKC. This team has just not been very good, simply put. Before we get into the remainder of the card for the Thursday in the NBA, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is Avo. So once again, check out Avo for a chance to make more money betting sports, because it is the best sports betting tool that helps you make profit every time when you decide to place bets by arbitrage or plus EV opportunities, and they help you compile a list faster than competitors, keep you organized in one place. And if you are new to arbitrage, it's simple. Bet both sides of the same market and get guaranteed profit. But also, if you are new to arbitrage and you want an explanation a bit more in depth, you can check out the video guides they have for you. But if you want to check out Avo, go to the link, avo.bet. That's avo.bet. Use code SGPN for 18% off. That's avo.bet. Promo code SGPN for 18% off, or $18 off, your purchase. Once again, avo.bet, promo code SGPN for $18 off your purchase. We're also brought to you by Kalshi, real money prediction market available in all 50 states. Trade tons of markets in sports, the NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and more. Plus, you can also trade props like first touchdowns, and they have a ton of other options besides sports like politics, entertainment, and even weather. And a reminder, if you are new to Kalshi, get a nice sign-up deal courtesy of us. Get $20 if you're new to Kalshi when you use the code SGPN at sign-up. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA podcast. Finish going through the first couple games for Thursday's card. Time to move on into the next game. Moving on to the Bucks, taking on the Spurs. For this game, Spurs are laying 7.5, and they look fully healthy. Vassell's out, but you have Fox, you have Castle, you have Wemby, so really no issues there. For Milwaukee, Giannis is probable, and that's basically it. Nobody else really matters, but we know Milwaukee's in free fall. Doc's blaming everybody besides himself, and the Bucks are 6 games under. Last time out, I did pick Minnesota. No Ant, no Gobert, no problem. Take this 31-point L at home, and Giannis got mad at the crowd for booing. He booed back the crowd. Weird choice when you're down 30 with a bunch of people missing on the other team. Yeah, the Bucks stink. We know Doc's not very good, and the Spurs, we know, are healthy, and when healthy and engaged, they're a top 5 team in the league. So I'm on San Antonio. I got nothing else to add. Milwaukee is kind of just wasting away, and I think they have to trade Giannis. They're just too dumb to notice. But what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm completely out on the Bucks. Originally going in, I was a little bit higher on them than the consensus because I thought that they could kind of, piece together something unique, especially being in the Eastern Conference. But I was completely wrong about that.
You mean preseason, right?
Yeah, preseason. I was completely yeah, and I wasn't high on them like they could win the championship, but I thought they would be better than what the win total suggested as well. And it started off okay, but kind of water Metis level there. But I'm out on the Bucks. Like you talked about the booing stuff. That's sign number one. And
what did you think was going to happen? You're down 31 at home to a team missing its best player and probably 2 of its best 3 players. Are they supposed to cheer for you? Like, what do you think was going to happen?
Yeah, and Giannis is usually like more level-headed than that, so I'm not sure like what to make of that. Excuse me. This is Milwaukee's 5th road game in 15 days, so probably running on tired legs. They already don't have a ton of depth. I think it's a great spot for the Spurs. They're back home after a 3-game road trip. Their offense has really struggled. They scored 105 points or 106 points, or less in 4 of the last 5. Since beating OKC, I think they've lost 6 of 10 on Christmas Day. Like the Wemby starting versus bench splits is interesting. My cousin, who's a big Spurs fan, brought it to my attention, and when I looked at it, I'm like, well, maybe it's a small sample size, of course, but it is.
Cornette's starting's actually been pretty good for them so far this season.
Yeah, it's been a bit stagnant. It's really telling if you look at the numbers. Obviously, sample size is small, but
just to be clear, sorry, when you say look at the numbers, you're saying they're better with Wemby on the bench, correct?
Coming off the bench, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, significantly better. And there's some data to back that up if it's out there if you want to look for it. But I like the Spurs in the spot. They're 10-7-1 ATS at home. I think Milwaukee's running on tired legs. I think they're on borrowed time as well. So I think this is a perfect spot for San Antonio to kind of exercise some demons. I think they were held to under 100 points for the first time all season last game, and they shot 40% from the field. this is one of those games where everything falls for San Antonio and they get things going. And we've seen Giannis and Wemby match up before, and it's been really exciting. So I think that'll probably be the only exciting thing about the game. And then Spurs will end up blowing the doors off. So I like the Spurs.
That's how I feel. I mean, I don't think Porter Jr. or Rollins have any answers for Fox or for Castle, so I think that should be a serious mismatch in favor of San Antonio. At the end of the day, Doc Rivers has been abysmal this season. Even if you weren't as anti-Doc Rivers as we've been on the show, and I've been anti-Doc Rivers for about a decade and change, I think this has been a perfect summary of how most NBA fans feel about Doc Rivers in 2026. He has been a catastrophe so far with Milwaukee, and that has not gone away so far this season. But either way, I think that the Spurs blow them out in this home game. Moving on to the next game, Jazz taking on the Mavericks. Jazz were actually laying 1.5 overnight. Then Dallas moved to -2.5, and the over-under is at 238.5. Now, Flag rolled his ankle last game. Again, I'm assuming he's not going to play, if I had to guess, in this game, but he's questionable. I'm assuming that's more of a doubtful. We'll see what happens. Gafford is also questionable for this game. He left early as well with an ankle sprain, so not exactly great. Max Christie's questionable. Of course, AD and Kyrie are still out. For Utah, Markkanen did not play yesterday. We'll see if he goes today. He's questionable. Besides that, Kevin Love is upgraded to questionable for this game. So if Dallas is missing Flag, and Gafford's not really there for offense. I know PJ Washington didn't play yesterday, so maybe that's how they're going to score. How do you think Dallas scores if Cooper doesn't play? Is it just Nembhard pick and roll and hoping PJ gives you 25? Is that what they got going for him?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, regardless of who plays, I like Utah. I mean, I think Utah. If you look at this Utah team, I mean, they're extremely talented, man. They got some talented individuals. Now, them working together as a team to kind of get things going is another thing.
It's really defense. They can't guard anybody. I mean,
yeah, that too. And a lot of that has to do with, Kessler, the rim protector, being out as well, because he kind of controls the paint and allows those guards to play aggressive defensively, whether they're good or not. But they know that they can play a little bit harder when they got an eraser like Kessler at the back. But I like Utah in the spot, man. I think they defeated the Mavericks, last week. They play well against this team. I mean, I think they've won both games this year. So, I mean, Keontae's playing well. Ace is kind of up and down, as you would expect from a rookie. But Sensabaugh is kind of emerging. You talked about the 40 3-point game. I think that was second most in team history off the bench. I think Clarkson had 45. If I'm not mistaken.
Do you like Hendricks?
No, I don't like Hendricks. I don't know.
Okay. Just asking. I'm not really that into him either, but he's another young guy getting minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, he is a promise. I'm just not a fan. I never was a fan of him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but Sensabaugh's averaging like 11 per game. He scored 12 plus in 6 of the 8 since 2026. So like he's playing really, really well. And I think this young team is obviously back-to-backs don't really bother them because they're so young. And then you have I guess Laurie's going to play. I mean, he didn't play last, so maybe they're holding him out to trade. I don't know what's going on with him, but if he does play, I mean, that's even more incentive to bet the Jazz here. I know they don't have a good road record, but Mavericks banged up on a back-to-back. I think I trust the Jazz to get it done.
Yeah, for the record, so far this season, straight up, Utah is 5-3 on back-to-backs. Dallas is 4-3. If you want to go for ATS on back-to-backs, sorry, let me just quickly see what I can get here. Utah on back-to-backs, ATS is 5-3. Dallas on back-to-backs, ATS is 5-2. So both teams are actually pretty good on back-to-backs. I'll go Utah. I really don't know why Dallas became a favorite in this game. Do you agree with me that Flag's probably not going to play when he rolls his ankle in back-to-back games?
And I think that was the same ankle he rolled in the ACC tournament that he was at Duke. I know that's obviously a long span. Yeah. I mean, the same ankle, the same injury. You
want to be careful with it.
Yeah, and I think they don't have any incentive to. I mean, they're not probably going to the playoffs or even the play-in. So, yeah, I would rest him up. I would rest him up, especially on the back-to-back. But again, regardless of whether he plays or not, I think Utah's the right side.
Yeah, I see a question from Ortega asking if we have any interest in going for Nembhard, potentially going for his PRA. I mean, I like it. I think that he's going to have the ball in his hands the entire time.
PA, maybe.
I don't mind it. I think that you're looking at a spot where he should have the ball in his hands anyway. He's been coming off the bench, but he should be starting in this game. So I like him. A double-double could be in the cards for Nembhard in this one. Moving on to the next game, the Knicks, who are in free fall, and Brunson got hurt yesterday. Besides that, they're doing fine. The Warriors, though, laying 6.5 at home. The over-under is 229.5. So Brunson left, but there were no crutches post-game. So we'll see how injured he actually is. But Towns has been underwhelming. Knicks fans have had enough of Towns. Yeah, have fun with that contract. Besides that, Mitchell Robinson also questionable for this game. Brunson's questionable. So Kolek might be getting the spot start. We'll see. For Golden State, they're healthy. Seth Curry's out, but nobody really cares. No offense. I'll ask you in this game because I like Golden State. The Knicks have been really bad on the road, and Brunson's hurt, and they've been really bad lately. Good enough for me. Give me Golden State minus 6.5.
Yeah, I like Golden State as well. I know Brunson typically, he always has, a few games during the year where it looks like he maybe broke his ankle or tore his ACL or something, and he ends up just coming back and playing. And
no crutches is also pretty important, so I mentioned that.
Yeah, but he has one of these games or a couple of these games a year. So I'm hoping it's nothing serious. The Knicks fans probably should be praying it's nothing serious, but I don't think he plays here, especially on a back-to-back. Kind of want to sit him out. The Knicks have been struggling, but I'm not really a fan of Golden State right now. The Kuminga stuff is kind of heating up because today is the day that he can actually be traded. They've won and covered 3 of the last 4 at 11-9 ATS at home. Don't trust the Knicks on the road. That's rule number 1, especially without Jalen Brunson or with the hobble one. So it will be Golden State.
Kings killed them last night.
Yeah. So I like Golden State, although it did tick up. I think it opened 4.5. So I still like it here. I think Golden State maybe can probably exert some goodwill for their offense.
Yeah, I think the lineup movement's also suggesting Brunson's just going to sit. So if you want to go for props, I don't mind Josh Hart, especially if Mitchell Robinson doesn't play. That could be a very solid double-double angle for Hart. But yeah, the Knicks aren't very good right now. So there you go. Shocker, a Mike Brown team struggling with defense. Who would have thought? But either way, Cat has been problematic, and Knicks fans have had enough. So there we go. Do you think Knicks fans are overreacting, or do you think the Cat defense is the official Achilles heel of this team? Because it has been a pretty ugly stretch for Cat for the last week or two.
What did they expect? You saw it on display all playoffs last year. I don't think it's anything to be surprised. Just what you.
Yeah, pretty much. The Knicks defensively, though, are a problem, and we'll see what they do tonight, but we're both going Golden State for this game. Moving on to the next game, you have the Hawks laying 4.5 on the road against Portland. You're looking at the over-under at 232.5. Now, for Atlanta, they got killed by the Lakers last time out. Porzingis not playing again, so the defense should be terrible for this team. But you have Kennard is questionable, Reese Shea's out, and Gay is questionable for this game. For Portland, still a bunch of injuries. Scoot still not playing. You have Jeremy Grant is questionable. Avdia is doubtful for this game. So we might be getting a solid Caleb Love starting point guard game. We'll see what happens. But either way, Atlanta defensively has not been very good without Porzingis all season. Portland, you could argue the offense is going to struggle without Avdia. But defensively, they still want to play fast. Still not exactly great defensively. Klingon helps, but I just see a bunch of points in this game. Give me the over, 232.5. For the side, I really don't want to lay 4.5 with Atlanta with no Porzingis, but I'll just go over. Give me a fast-paced, up-tempo game. McCollum, I think, has a solid game off the bench. Give me over 232.5.
Interesting matchup with McCollum going back to Portland, facing his former team. So I do like the over as well. I think this is a coin flip game. So I'll take the home dog in Portland. Both teams have similar metrics, and I know not having Avdia is tough, but I think the pace of the game and having those younger guys like Caleb Love play in the spot. They got Drew Holiday back. He's still kind of working his way back. I think he missed close to 30 games, 25 games or something like that. So he's kind of getting back in the funk, and I think that'll be better for them on the defensive end, especially at the point of attack. But I do like Portland. 7-3 ATS the last 10, the 12-5 ATS at home. They're really good as a dog, especially as a home dog. So I'm gonna take Portland. I'm gonna take Portland. This is Atlanta's fourth straight road game. Obviously not like not a ton of travel, but still a little bit, and I think that could be wearing here. So I'm gonna take Portland plus the points. I think they maybe can win this game outright.
I think they can too. I mean, watching Atlanta get killed by the Lakers as they're getting free looks on every possession, I'm just not interested. I understand Grant might not play, as Barry's pointing out, but Portland at home can be feisty. Atlanta without Porzingis is an abysmal defensive team. So I just see a bunch of points. So I think Portland's live, but I like the under. I like the over, in this game. Moving on to the last game. Speaking of the Lakers, they are hosting the Hornets. They're laying 4.5. The over-under is at 233.5. And for the injury report, Jackson Hayes is questionable. Reeves is still out. For Charlotte, you have no Mason Plumlee, Diabate is questionable, and Sexton is questionable. So the Lakers, after getting embarrassed by Sacramento, came out and smacked Atlanta. LeBron almost had a triple-double. But either way, the Lakers laying 4.5. Thoughts on this game? Because I do question the depth in the front court with potentially no Diabate and no Mason Plumlee. But at the same point, the Lakers, we know, have issues defensively, and I expect a bunch of points. So I like the over in this game, but I think the Lakers probably win and cover. Hornets just played the Clippers. There is no travel for Charlotte in this game. But what do you like in the spot?
I'm kind of like dry on the Lakers right now. I mean, they got a lot of stuff going on with obviously the Rich Paul and Austin Reeves stuff. They got the LeBron. Like, they got a lot of different things going on, and that doesn't go well because they're not playing. They're not playing well. I mean, they got to win against Atlanta, but I think that was just a good spot and kind of an all-in effort. So yeah, I'm just not really in on the Lakers right now. I mean, the Hornets quietly been one of the best ATS teams in the league, especially on the road. And 12-9 ATS on the road, a 20-13 ATS as a dog. You talk about the no travel. I think that's big. They've been there since the 12th with that game against the Clippers. LaMelo, obviously, back home in LA. I'm just not trusting the Lakers right now. I mean, it's kind of what it boils down to. So I want to take the Hornets and the points. I would kind of go under, thinking that the Hornets kind of maybe can control the pace a little bit. I know they want to play a little bit faster, and they have been over the past, few weeks, but I think they might want to slow the game down a little bit. The Lakers, obviously can't shoot the ball a ton, but the size of Charlotte, or lack thereof, could come back to bite them with kind of Luka and LeBron posting up those guards. So I think it'll be a slower paced game. I'm going to take the under, but I do like Charlotte. I mean, I think Charlotte's live to win the game.
Yeah, so do I. I understand that Cockbrenner might be the only center that's healthy on this team right now, which is not ideal, but I do think with the rest of the supporting cast can score. LaMelo, Miller, Knipple, they got guys who can light it up. So I think this could be a high-scoring game. I see it being pretty close. Freeze mentioning that LaMelo and Miles did beat the Lakers last year. I remember that game. That was right after the Luka trade, and the Lakers played like absolute garbage. But I'll go with the Hornets in this game as well. I don't mind the over. I see a comment mentioning the Hornets have been good in the first quarter on the road. So if you want to go for the Hornets to jump them early, I don't mind that either. But I will go with the Hornets as well with you. I wish Sexton played, though, because I do like the bench scoring there. But I do think 4.5 is a good number. Not going to overreact to the Lakers showing up and beating an Atlanta team that without Porzingis can really guard nobody. So I like the over, but give me the Hornets as well. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for all the games on the card. Before we get into the lock and dog picks, a reminder they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is Underdog Fantasy. We're going to give out an entry in a few minutes. But if you like pick 'em entries, chance to win 5,000 times your entry. They'll bring the playoff magic, all playoffs along every playoff weekend. Open the app, see what promos are waiting for you. And new offer for new customers, play just $5, $75 bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. They've been great this NFL season, and you can keep using their props for the NFL playoffs. A reminder, you can also check them out for model building for a bunch of different other sports. They have, for example, baseball. They have college basketball, WNBA. Check them out. But if you want to check out the models, a couple ways to do it. You can either build your own, copy one for the leaderboard, or you go to Rhythm's house model just to give you plays straight up. But a reminder, if you want to check out Rhythm and you want to go premium, get a nice discount code courtesy of us. Use the code SGPN25 for 25% off your first month once you download the app. That's Rhythm, RATHMM, promo code SGPN25 for 25% off your first month at Rhythm. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Gaming Podcast. Finished going through all the games on Thursday. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. Lonte, what's going to be your lock and dog for the show?
to go to the top of the card. It's going to tip off in a few hours, actually. So I'm going to take the 5.5. I'm going to lay the 5.5 with Orlando. Is it still? I'm trying to make sure it's still 5.5.
By the way, your mic got like extremely low on volume.
Oh, my bad. Okay, hold on, let me see.
It's fine. Like I can hear you, but it's a little bit low.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But so yeah, I'm going to take. I'll just keep it short. I like Orlando with the points, and for the dog 2-pick parlay, let's go with Keontae George 20 points. Utah to get the win. That's 2-1.
All right. For the lock, what do I want to do here? You know what? I think I'll just trust the pace that I'm expecting. I'm going to go with the over 232.5 in the Hawks game as they take on the Blazers. I know Avdi is a very good potential all-star for Portland, but watching Atlanta play defense without Porzingis is absolutely disgusting. And I don't really trust Portland to guard anybody either. So I think Jalen Johnson bounces back. He was horrific against the Lakers. I think he'll play well. I think CJ will play well too. Give me the over 232.5 as my lock for the show in that Hawks game. For the dog, do I want to go alt spread or do I want to go with a same game parlay? I mean, not same game parlay. I mean, just a parlay in general. Because I think Golden State probably beats the Knicks handily, but at the same point, I think the Spurs beat the Bucks handily. So I'll go for an alt spread. I think I'm just going to fade Milwaukee. I mean, Giannis is booing his home fans. The Bucks have really no identity right now. And Doc is just there's no accountability at all with this team. So I'm going to go with the Spurs minus 10.5 plus 141. I think they bury Milwaukee in this game. Give me the Spurs alt spread minus 10.5 as my dog for the show at plus 141. So moving on to Underdog. Lonte, anybody you want to go after in particular?
I think the first one that we liked was Nembhard.
Yeah, so let me see if Nembhard's listed. Dallas might be a bit tricky because they might be missing so many people. I don't see Nembhard listed, so we can't, unfortunately, use him. Looking at some other options here, let me just see if there's anybody that I'm interested in.
I like Derek White threes.
I can get behind that. I mean, we know Miami should give up a ton of points, so I don't mind White threes. That is at 3.5. Numbers against Miami, he had 9 in the last meeting, so good enough for me. 3.5. We'll go for the higher on Derek White threes. So that's going to be our first choice. Let me just think of who else we talked about on the show.
I know it's going to be high, but Steph points or Steph threes, I think that's a good. I mean, the Knicks are horrible at defending the three, like horrible.
Yeah, I'll go points for this one. Steph points is at 20. I believe it's at 28.5.
Yeah, I mean, he can make like 7 or 8 threes.
It might be 30.5 though on Underdog, or it might be somewhere. Never mind, it's 27.5. We'll go for the higher on that as well. And one more that we'll talk about here. I'm trying to think if I want to actually go for Cockbrenner because they have no other centers on their team. But I know offensively that can be a bit dicey. You know what? I'll go for CJ McCollum. I think McCollum is a solid game here against his former team. Give me CJ McCollum. Give me the higher on his points and assists. And you can find that available at about 19.5. So once again, the Underdog entry that we're going to go with here for Thursday, we're going to go with CJ McCollum on the higher 19.5 PA. We are also going to go with Steph Curry higher 27.5 points. And we are going to go with Derek White higher 3.5 made 3-pointers. Anyway, to wrap it up for the show, do have an announcement though for scheduling. Starting next week, we are going to have night shows. So the 11 a.m. record time is no more, and at least for the most part, because Terrell now has to work different hours. So instead of doing the shows at 11 a.m., we're going to probably aim for, I'd say, 10 p.m. Eastern. So keep an eye out for that. Still going to keep the same amount of days, but keep an eye out for the night before. Lonte, anything else you want to add?
That's about it, brother.
Cool.